7 of the most mysterious disappearances of ships. Everybody heard the legend of the Flying Dutchman, whom the sailors were afraid of as fire. According to marine beliefs, ghost ships are phantoms foreshadowed trouble. There are many stories of ships that disappeared without a trace, along with their crews. Most of them are just tales, but some look plausible and are still covered in mysteries. Maria Celesta. The second most popular ghost ship after the Flying Dutchman is rightly considered the sailing ship Maria Celesta. Only in contrast to the Dutchman, Celeste's real ship. From its first voyage, the sailing ship was chased by a series of failures. During the voyage, the captain died, the ship ran aground and lost its cargo. Brigantine changed names and owners several times, but everything was in vain. The ship seems to have been cursed. In 1872, the sail ship set sail from America to Europe. A month later, Maria Celesta was found sailing aimlessly toward the Strait of Gibraltar. The ship was undamaged and the cargo remained intact. However, there was not a single soul on board. All crew members and several dozen passengers disappeared without a trace. Their mysterious disappearances is still a mystery. Carol A. Deering. No less mysterious is the story of the disappearing of the crew of the five-mast schooner Carol A. Deering. The ship was built in 1919 by J.J. Deering. The owner of the company named the Sable after his son. The gain cargo schooner successfully sailed for 2 years, but in 1921 off the coast of North California, the ship was found without a crew. Carol A. Deering was written in many newspapers. Several investigations were conducted, but all in vain. Some believe that the crew of the sailing ship was kidnapped by pirates, and some think that the foul is the mystery Bermuda Triangle, which the schooner entered shortly before. Copenhagen. Copenhagen was one of the most modern and largest sailing ships of its time. The five-mast Berkshire was built in Danish shipyard in 1921. The hull was made of high-quality steel with electric winches for lifting sails and latest navigation equipment on board. Copenhagen was a training and production vessel with regular voyages and regatas. However, unexpectedly, on December 21, 1928, communication with the ship broke down. In the evening, the Danish barque went on the air for the last time and then disappeared without a trace along with 61 crew members, among whom were cadets of Maritime Academy. Several expeditions were sent in search of the ship, but all to no avail. The official conclusion of the investigation indicated that the ship died as a result of irresistible sea elements. The schooner Gianni. In 1822, the new schooner Gianni left the port on the Isle of Wight as part of the Antarctic Regatta. A year later, the regatta reached the Drake Strait, where the sailing ship disappeared without a trace. For 17 years, the ship was reported missing. Everyone thought that Gianni had crashed in the strait, which is famous for its severe storms. However, in 1840, off the coast of Antarctica, whaling ship found a sailing ship which apparently blew away in the direction of the ice continent, where it was stuck in the ice. All the bodies of the crew and 7 passengers were well preserved in the low temperatures. CheerPabieri.ru found out that the last entry in the ship's log said,
May 4, 1823. No food for 71 days. There are no survivors, expect me.
It was left by the captain, who was found frozen with a pen in his hand. Jane sank. Ghost ships were not only in the past. In 2006, the Ghost Guard discovered a drifting vessel near Australia. It was a 80-meter tanker. There was no crew, cargo, or even documents confirming the owner and board of registry on board. It also remains a mystery when the vessel was built and how long it drifted without a crew. There is no evidence to suggest that the tanker was engaged in smuggling or poaching. Despite the fact that the name of the ship was painted over, it was possible to find out with the help of expertise. Jane sank. It's possible that the crew of the tanker and all documents were stolen by the pirates. At least there is no other explanation. Orang Medan. The Dutch merchant ship Orang Medan became a ghost in 1947. Two ships in the Strait of Malacca received an SOS signal from it. According to the radio report, the signal was transmitted by a crew member who was very scared of something. His last words were that everyone on board dead, and he was left alone on the ship. After that, the connection was severed. A few days later, Orang Medan was found drifting toward the Indian coast. All the crew members were dead, with all their bodies frozen in strange positions and if defending themselves against something. No wounds or injuries were found. The true cause of the sailors' deaths is still a mystery. According to some claims, the vessel was carrying sulfuric acid, which was not properly packaged. The crew probably died from toxic sulfur vapors. Bajimo. The merchant ship Bajimo was built in 1911 in Sweden by order of a German company. After the end of the First World War, the ship passed to Great Britain and was used the next 14 years to transport far. During her last voyage in 1931, the weather deteriorated sharply and ship got stuck in ice off the coast of Alaska. A week later, however, the Bajimo broke apart and continued on its way again, but a couple of weeks later it was again trapped in the ice. The crew had to leave this ship and live on the coast of Alaska for a month, waiting to be discovered. Fortunately, the rescue workers arrived and took the sailors and their valuable cargo, but the ship remained drifting into the ice. But that's no end of the Bajima story. Later on, the vessel was seen drifting off the Canadian and Arctic coast several times. Due to the poor condition of the null, no one dared to aboard the ghost ship as it could sink at any moment. The last signing of the Bajimo was in 1969. At that point, the frozen ship became part of an ice massif. The Alaskan government subsequently made several attempts to find the ship, but everything was in vain.